Hi, my name is DiGiovanni, and this is everything I eat in a day. The first thing I do when I wake up is I really like to make this smoothie. It's super simple. I just toss in a banana, a little bit of yogurt, maybe some oat milk. I actually used to use regular or almond milk, and now I've switched over to the oat milk gang, the super creamy one that I absolutely love. And then I put a bunch of peanut butter powder and a little bit of cinnamon in there, sometimes with some chia seeds, and it's a really tasty way to start the day. I don't usually sit down for a typical breakfast, so that's why I decided a while back to just go for the smoothie. I actually like both coffee and tea, but when I get coffee, I pretty much always get decaf. I'm big into a decaf mocha, but typically it's tea, and I really like this hot cinnamon spice tea that I have all the time, which is also herbal. So pretty much every morning after I finish the smoothie, I start filming food videos, whether it's for TikTok or YouTube. And the TikTok videos, I'll just start banging them out one after the next, but the YouTube ones pretty much take the whole middle section of the day. The craziest part about lunch for me is that it can be anything at any time, and some days I don't even know till I actually get there. I'll pretty much try to snack on whatever I've made, but sometimes those things aren't exactly something you can sit down for. For instance, when I made candy canes around the holidays. Other times though, it's just this big giant burger that I can sit down and eat after I finish filming. One of my go-to snacks is definitely pretzels and hummus, and I specifically like these kind of extra cooked pretzels. They're just a lot darker and have more flavor in my opinion. Once in a while, I do have a sweet tooth, and I'll get things like fruit snacks, but I've also just gotten really into this candy recently that doesn't have a lot of sugar in it. So that's a lot better to satisfy my sweet tooth that way now. And the last little thing is I'm definitely into trying to find little snacks that are pretty seasonal. So right now I've been eating tons and tons of white peaches. Oftentimes my dinners are just a bunch of scraps in the fridge that are gonna go bad, and my favorite thing to do with them is turn them into some sort of soup. So what I'll do over time is I'll save up all my Parmesan cheese rinds, and I'll save up the ends of onions and other veggies, and most importantly, I'll save a giant bag of all the chicken carcasses and different bones that I use from different videos. And if you toss that all into a pot and pretty much just cover it with water and let that cook overnight, it makes the most amazing broth that you could ever imagine, and after that you can turn it into whatever you want. So by far and away my favorite thing to then make from that is this Thai chicken noodle soup. My favorite things to get at restaurants are just really unique combinations of things I've never tried before. So the most recent thing I had that I loved was this salmon sashimi dish that had a bunch of cinnamon oil on it, and it was probably one of the most delicious ways I've ever tasted salmon. I definitely get very hangry, but I'm very transparent and open about it. So the second I get hangry, I tell people that I'm hangry. For some really weird reason, I've never liked peas. They're actually totally fine right out of the garden when they're fresh and crispy, but I cannot stand cooked peas. In terms of bigger restaurants, my favorite food city might be Chicago. But to me, there's also something about finding those really kind of small niche restaurants. Let's just say a little lobster shack on the water in Maine. And personally, I find those really hard to beat. My crowd pleaser recipe that I'd make probably has to be this egg yolk raviolo, where you've got this really big ravioli, a super nice nest of ricotta cheese made with a little bit of nutmeg, and then inside an egg yolk that when you cut into that ravioli just burst all over the plate to kind of make a sauce. That for me is something very, very special. I've always been kind of obsessed with chicken pot pie. So when I get a really buttery, flaky, creamy, delicious chicken pot pie, that's pretty hard to beat. That's everything I eat in a day. Make sure to check me out on YouTube and TikTok, and thanks for watching.